Roses are red, violets are blue.
So trusted you. I thought I could too. So why in bloody hell does Makarov know you?
Ah, I caught you slacking! You gay! Ah, you gay!
Hello, welcome to LTM Reviews, what gets you caught up on the oldest movies, and welcome back to Illumination Buff. Now, technically, this is a Christmas movie, but because it is an Illumination movie, I just had to go check it out again, had to review it. So, I won't be reviewing it during December. Instead, I'll just review The Grinch and during my Illumination review. So, here it is, The Grinch 2018. So, as far as Dr. Seuss adaptation goes, I've already reviewed The Cat in the Hat, The Grinch, and The Lorax recently. And now I have to talk about the animated Grinch. The only Dr. Seuss adaptation I haven't talked about yet is Horton Hears a Who, which I need to get into it at some point. Let's talk about the Grinch 2018. So, in this version, instead of played by Jim Carrey, we got Benedict Cumberbatch, aka Doctor Strange, which is not a bad choice. I mean, he does okay in this movie. But anyways, we'll get to that in a second. In the Grinch, you know, the Grinch, he's a greedy guy, but in this version, he's got like some sort of past where he everything around him is Christmas, and it kind of annoys him, and as you might have guessed, he's trying to steal Christmas while having a subplot involving Cindy Lou, involving her family. I didn't really get it at all, but you know, wanted to do something for her mother and her brothers. So, what do I think of this version? As far as kids' films go, it's pretty passable. But as far as like a remake, or at least a retelling of the original Grinch story, like the Jim Carrey one, it's not that great. I mean, the Jim Carrey one worked for me because, one, I grew up with it, and it's what introduced me to the story. And two, it's because in this version, they try to go for a more dramatic route. Like, they're trying to make it more serious than the last Grinch movie, because the last Grinch was a little goofy, but it had a charm to it, had a simple charm to it. But in this one, I feel like the humor just fell flat in some areas, mostly with the loud talking, the loud yelling goat, which kind of annoyed me a little bit. Though I do have to admit, I do like the animation in this movie. I mean, it's probably the best that Illumination has done so far, because it's so beautiful. I mean, it's colorful and it looks nice, and I have to give them credit for that. As for the characters, I like the casting involving the characters, but they're not really anything that great. The story, it's the same story, but with a few changes. Like I said, Cindy Lou has a much bigger role than she did in the last film, and Max is sort of the same, and there's a couple other side characters that are really not that memorable to me, though they have some good voice actors involved, like Jordan Peele or something like that. But overall, there's not really much to say about the Grinch, other than it is probably the weak. It's not as weak as say Despicable Me 3, but it's definitely not as good as Despicable Me 2 or anything like that, you know, or Sing in that matter. But the Grinch 2018 overall is just a very generic kids movie. I mean, that's the point where everybody was saying, I think Illumination is going to keep doing this from now on. That's the way, this is the way it's going to go. They're going to make these cheap kids movies that nobody cares about and not everyone's going to probably go see. Now, the thing with the Grinch 2018 is that it made a lot of money. It became the highest grossing Dr. Seuss film, and I think the 12th highest grossing film of 2018. I could be wrong. It might have changed, but you know. Overall score, I give the Grinch 2018 a 6 out of 10. It's not awful or anything. It's just kind of generic and not very engaging. I prefer the Jim Carrey one. That's because, well, it felt like a movie that people were putting effort into. This movie just felt standard and generic. But it's not bad. As far as kids' films go, it's not bad. It's just I prefer the other versions over this. But, you know, I'll take this over something like Cat in the Hat any day. So, that's the Grinch. Now we have one more Illumination film, and this is going to be probably a short... I know this is kind of a short marathon, but because the Illumination's only made more like 5 or 9 or 10 movies, this will probably have to do. The last review for Illumination Month will be The Secret Life of Pets, and that's enough for Illumination Month. So, see you guys next time. This is LTM signing out.
And tell me what's the meaning of life? I'm gonna do this.
Step down from the table and I'll tell you.